Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series sorting through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video we're going to be looking at what is the veil of ignorance. Now, throughout time, philosophers have come up with many theories of justice, such as equality, internal harmony, or just desserts. John Rawls presented a theory of justice which equates it to fairness. The problem is deciding what exactly we mean by fairness. How, when everyone has their own personal interests, can we truly develop a fair society? Rawls does this by using the idea of an original position. This is a position that the founders of a society should adopt when attempting to decide on the principles for justice that we should use to create our just society. This position requires free and equal people committed to fairness and impartiality. Yet, how can we separate these people from their own circumstances and interests? It seems that frequently people, when given the power to create a society, will simply give all that power to themselves and be very unequitable or not fair when distributing the resources or power of the institutions in that society. So Rawls' solution to this is to require that the people be behind what he calls a veil of ignorance. This requires that these people should not know what their circumstances will be in the new world of society, such as their race, gender, religion, orientation, income, disabilities, personal values, or other distinguishing factors. They only have access to general facts about science and theories of justice. Rawls claims that lacking such personal details, even self-interested people must choose principles of justice which are fair. Specifically, Rawls expects that these people would choose to implement principles around providing basic human rights for all and equal access to education, employment opportunities, and the halls of power. Now, a range of objections have been leveled against this position, including claims that people divorced from their own values would be unable to make a choice in such a situation. But other concerns that might concern me with this include the fact that lacking knowledge of the historical context of a society and the experiences of those that have been marginalized, the principles would not be equitable. We're not talking about equal, we're talking about equitable. When I say equitable, I don't mean that the society will treat everyone the same, but rather the society will not work for those people that might have started out at a lower point and therefore be unable to, with the same treatment, reach the same point. Or equality of opportunity might be another way to say this, since they would be ignorant of the past experiences and initial conditions of those marginalized groups. So, for example, imagine that lacking these historical information about the fact that a large portion of the society is disabled in a particular way. Maybe a large portion of the society is blind. They might develop a society which wouldn't account for the fact that there's a subgroup in that society which has a particular need which the just principles of the society might not meet. A similar thing could speak to groups that have been traditionally marginalized from a particular race or a particular gender, and since those historical contexts might provide, for example, a lower income for a group or a lower position in the power structure for that group based on particular roles, and the founders would be ignorant of those rules, they'd be unable to provide the necessary kind of accommodations for that group. By not allowing someone to be aware of what it is like to be marginalized or the historical content, such a strong need for equity might not be valued over a need for equality. What do you think? Should we decide our principles of justice from behind a veil of ignorance? Or are the experiences and values of both being privileged or being marginalized necessary to informing our choices about the principles of justice? Write your answer in the comments below. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.